Have you ever been playing SCP Secret Lab and wondered, what the crap is this story? Now we can break it down to the bare minimum of spooky monsters chasing you in facility. Oh, so scary. But let's be honest, we're talking about SCP. There's like so many lore and stuff that it's kind of a convoluted mess. So why doesn't Secret Lab have this bare minimum story while all the others have this whole convoluted storyline? Well, I've been wondering that for a while, and I could barely find any video that would explain the lore. Heck, I only found one that tells about 939 and nothing else. So I decided to make my own video on the lore, and after researching it and coming up with some of my own conclusions, if you guys think I missed something or messed something up, just let me know in the comments. I'm really happy to feedback. I can finally make the only video that recaps the whole story of SL, and boy is it deep. So grab a bag of popcorn, let's dive into the story of Secret Lab. Alright, before we begin, let's set some ground rules. So in this video, I used 3 sites to help me research this topic. The first and primary one I'll be using is the fandom timeline, Shattered Crown. I'm 99% sure this is reliable, since it's updated to the latest lore in the heavy duty update. If it still isn't reliable, again, just let me know. The second site I'll be visiting is the Arlington Summit? The Arlington Summit? Whatever, the something summit story on the SCP Wiki written by Northwood themselves. And the last one is the official SCP SL Wiki. I'll be honest, I didn't really use it much since lore isn't covered there, and it's kind of outdated. So, yeah, I just didn't use it. Another thing is I'll be skipping to the late 20th century in the Shattered Timeline since, well, it's just the stuff you already read in the articles. So, yeah. Alright, with the rules set, let's get started with this video. 3, 2, 1, go! Alright, I already broke one of my rules. Shadow 2 was made in 1874. Now, I know some of you guys are saying, Shadow 2 isn't real because it isn't the wiki. And to that I say, for some reason it gets constantly shut down and reopened. I don't know why, just for some reason. I actually do wonder if there's a Site 3 and 4. Oh, and I guess at some point in the timeline, it's heavily implied the Foundation kicked the Chaos Insurgency's butt, and is guaranteed gone and never coming back. Okay, so at some point in the radical time of the 80s, the MTF got some tubular suits that were used throughout the decade, but became obsolete because there are new toys in the newer suits, and they will guarantee never be used again. Alright, this is actually kind of cool. I'm going to confess, I didn't really know 079's origin story. So here it is. So, some kid made an AI that improves itself. Yeah, sounds like ChatGPT, but it's the 80s, man. The Atari stuff. But for some reason forgets about it. And now PC's like, I'm so smart, I'm going to take over the world. And the Foundation is like, no! So, yeah. Also, Ronald Reagan did something and gave him Site 14, so, yeah. More than just being cut up in the tape thing, I guess. Alright, the Foundation takes a crackdown on a 939 nest and kills all of them but one, and uses it for amnestics. You know, the drugs that the Foundation uses for you to forget about life's problems, man. But, not gonna lie, that's just kinda sad for 939. Yeah, I know 939 is like a killer, but come on, just imagine you're coming back from a nice dinner, then some goofballs show up and kill your entire family, put you in a dark cell, and use you for drugs. That's kind of sad. So, I guess there's another 939 nest that the MTF take care of, except one slipped away. So, yeah. Also, some mountain guy just went up the mountains, took a picture of himself with our favorite Mario character in the world. Later, he notices Shy Guy and becomes Shy Guy's next Happy Meal. Oh, by the way, you guys might want to start skedaddling. The 939 that we have in the cell gets pregnant for some reason. And it's gonna have lots of babies, man. Babies. They sound pretty cute, right?
Do not be confused! These hateful little bastards may appear cheap and easy, but they're but the tip of a vulgar iceberg. F them, or by God, they will f you! Thanks for helping out.
939 gives birth. Congrats, 939. You're now a mom. And wait, why are you eating one of the babies? Don't do that! Okay, and after some sort of thing happens, all the babies get killed, except for one, and it's sent somewhere else. And the science guy in charge of this gets moved elsewhere for being attached to a baby and calling himself her daddy?
Oh my goodness!
Look, I'm pretty sure this is not what they intended, but let me entertain myself for a moment. You know how 939 got pregnant for no entire reason? Alright, last 939 thing. So, the baby 939 in the future overhears some scientists saying Keter, and all thinks its name is Keter. Q. If you thought the 20th century took forever, wait till you guys see the 21st. Writing the script. It was scarring, man. Christmas time! So the Christmas tree from the holiday updates just shows up out of nowhere, gives some D-boys some cool guns and weapons, and leaves, starting the D-boy rebellion. Although it fails, but let's be honest, the D-boy rebellion has only just barely begun. Also, fun fact, the jailbird came from the Christmas tree. The more you know. 939 gets sick for whatever reason, loses its head, and gets dismembered for testing. But don't worry, it's still alive. Doctor, who's afraid of his identity, accesses 939, and for some reason, she tells her life story. Cool story, bro. Wait a minute. Is this the last 939 thing that I heard of? Wow! Talk about a red herring. Bianca's son dies. Just wanted to let you know. So, for whatever reason, this 05 guy wanted to kill PC, but another said no. So, good news for PC players. Remember that one 939 that got away from the MTF? Well, he decides to come back and basically turns this one dude into a 939. Also, you know that video I also showed earlier in the beginning? Yeah, that one covers the 939 stuff a lot better than I am, so go check that out. Anyways, the gist is this guy turns into a 939 and goes on a
killing spree.
Alright, after this containment breach where the mountain guy finally notices Shy Guy's in the photo, Shy Guy gets approved for termination. But he doesn't get terminated because the plot demands it. You know SCP Containment Breach? The hit game that basically started every single SCP game? Well, I'm pretty sure it's canon to Secret Lab. However, something bad must have happened, and you'll see why in a bit. Here's a recap for anyone who needs to remember what happened. You're a D-boy who, after testing with 173, needs to escape from this facility, all while being hunted by SCPs and MTF. There's also multiple endings, and I feel like 2 of them can be canonical to Secret Lab. Spoilers for a 13-year-old game. So, for one of the Gate A endings, if you don't use the femur breaker to capture 106, 106 distracts the MTF and you get captured by the Chaos Insurgency. There's also a Gate B ending where if you don't turn off the nuke goes off after 682 breaks out. I kind of prefer the Gate A ending because you don't die, and who knows, maybe there's an alternate ending that we don't see. Just saying. Now, there's one problem with Containment Breach being in Secret Lab's lore. Well, 2 if you count the modular site theme not being part of Site 19. It's that it says in some sort of paper that MTF units went to Site 19, but there was no Site 19. Now, I think this is kind of a cover-up. I think there was an MTF unit, being Epsilon 11, that went to Site 19, landed, but disappeared with the rest of the staff. And the Foundation is kind of funded by the United Nations, and them telling the United Nations, hey guys, not only do we lose a site that costs us billions, if not trillions, But we also lost an entire military faction. So, can you please give us more money? Instead, the cheaper route is just saying, hey, we lost a site. But don't worry, the MTF units are still okay. With them hiring new, more incompetent people to pretend to be Epsilon 11. That's my idea, but if you got your own theories, put them in the comments. Oh, and this is where the mimicry trailer for SCP comes in. They find the 939 human hybrid in the ruins of Site 19. I wonder what it was doing there. You know Cassie, you know, the robot that always says something in the intercom when an SCP dies, and says this.
I don't like the way my skin feels on my body. Do you like the way your skin feels on your body? Why don't you pull it off? Pull off your skin, pull the skin off your body, throw it away.
Well, it gets booted up, so happy birthday, Cassie. Alright, we ran into our first really weird conundrum to this. You know the story of 049 and Dr. Ham Jam? You know the story, I know the story. Basically, the dates kind of conflict, plus Site 19 in that story, I think still exists. So I have two solutions. One, since the Containment breach back in Containment breach happened, these events in history, they don't happen. The second one is maybe they happened at later dates. Or third, we're just gonna have to deal with it. Oh yeah, I forgot to add this. You know we're living in the best timeline when both Canada and Greenland are a part of the United States, which means Canadians can enjoy the freedoms of being American! Alright, this is the last 2010 stuff. Guys, we almost made it! So the Chaos Insurgency is planning to attack Site 02, which the Delta Command sends us this wonderful message. The Foundation is crumbling beneath their treachery, something, something, something. Or Containment, something, da da da. Site 02 is the final time we reap what we sown. Everything's prepared. Something, something. Save the D-boys, kill everyone else. Now, I know most people are saying, oh, this is the last time the Chaos Insurgency will attack the Foundation. I don't know why. This is probably going to be my theory that makes the least amount of sense. I think is, hey guys, this is the last time we're doing things normally. Once we're done with Site 02, we're going suns out, guns out. I don't know why. That's just something my head just came up with. Guys, good news! The 2020s don't last as long as the 2010s! Hooray! I'm so happy! Alright, let's get down to the most important thing of all time. Some D-boy makes the first pig candy boom! And he has consecrated the first of many holy kabooms to come. Now, this is the most recent lore, and it has been ham-fisted into our faces by Northwood. Site 45 gets invaded by the Chaos Insurgency, and it's so bad that the Foundation has to blow up Site 45, killing Chaos, but also all of their employees and most of their SCPs. Except for 127, my boy! Something not as known is the site next door, Site 44, also gets destroyed by the Chaos Insurgency, and it causes everyone in Site 12 to have a panic attack. Alright. Remember back in the beginning of the video where I said the MTF had some tubular suits? Well, after getting their butts kicked by the Chaos Insurgency, for some reason, it was the best decision to bring back those old suits. I don't know why, they are just bringing it back. And that's the story on how we got the Combine suits in 14.0. And that leads us to present day. And yes, present day, because this is when the Containment breach happens in Site 02. Oh my gosh, this video took so long to edit, man. Well, I do have an afterthought section at the end, so yeah, see ya there. Man, I can't believe I finished it. Alright, we're done. No, I'm playing Acrobatic Abatement. You know that means this video's done. I'm really glad you guys watched through the end. I have like one last theory, and here's the quick version. I think Cyto 2 is also testing on SCPs because 939's blood samples have some crazy effects, man. And I have a feeling they might be testing on SCPs. Maybe that's why they're not very lore accurate. Again, thank you guys for watching to the very end. I usually type of stuff, so thanks for watching. If you guys think this video sucked, you can tell me in the comments, or if you want to tell me personally. I'm usually playing on a server called Soda. I mostly play it for nostalgia, because this is that was the first server I ever joined. But again, thanks for watching to the very end. I'll see you next time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. I finished the video. Again, thanks for watching. Now, please enjoy a few seconds of this lo-fi beat. See you next time.